Each of you will be given the opportunity to ask one question of another candidate. That responding candidate will have 1 minute for the response, and then each of the other two will have 30 seconds to make their contributions. So, Mr. Birtch, you are the first questioner. So pick your candidate and ask your question.
I had not decided who I would ask this question of until sitting here tonight. I will ask Michael Harding. And my question is, what one thing did your opponent do during his term as mayor that you feel he should apologize to the people of Woodstock for?
Mr. Harding, you have 1 minute to respond.
Can I take a minute just to ponder that question? Before you throw politicians under the bus, you got to realize that everybody up here and everybody with whom I have served are there because they believe they want to do the best for the city. They want to do the best for you folks. So I'm not going to really answer my street John. He doesn't have to apologize for anything.
Mr. Sebesky, you have 30 seconds.
Well, that's exactly right. You have to admire people who stand for office. For everyone who criticizes, there's always 10 people who say, I didn't do that job for all the tea in China. So for ourselves, for the lineup that was here earlier, everyone respects that what we have to do. We have to make decisions. At the end of the day, you turn the page and you move on.
Mr. Birtch, you also have 30 seconds.
Thank you for both of your responses. It makes me feel more comfortable sitting up here knowing that you won't say the same things that you put in people's mailboxes. I'm quite surprised. Thank you.
Mr. Sebesky, it's your turn to ask a question of either of the other two candidates.
Well, thank you. The question will go to Mr. Birtch. Woodstock City Council has initiated a number of projects that will bring in tangible benefits to the many of the residents in the community. Specifically, I'm referring to the proposed recreational complex in Devonshire, free access to Pittock Lake, expanding recycling of the waste deposit or the waste disposal, and also partnering with the university to bring a downtown campus. So my question to you would be, would you stop any of these 4 projects from proceeding? And if so, why?
Mr. Birtch, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. I wouldn't stop any of the projects from proceeding, but I would work with the newly elected council to make better use and timing of everything that you just rhymed off. For example, recreation center. I want parks in our neighborhoods with multi-use facilities like a basketball court where you can play floor hockey. Flooded in the winter as a skating rink. We can have short-term solutions before building the Woodall development. That development needs to be more inclusive than the proposal you already have. We need to have more activities for young families there, so let's do it right this time. As far as the other issues, I think it's time to look at transit. You have had plans in the past and haven't gone all the distance on it. So there's a lot more work ahead of us for this council. Thank you.
Mr. Harding, 30 seconds to respond to that question.
My heavens. When we look at recreation needs, we have to look at who we are going to be as a city 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years out. We're going to have to look at what this audience wants by way of recreation. I don't think looking around we're going to be playing hockey, not even floor hockey. But we've got to make sure that the money we spend is spent wisely for all the population, just not those who today want to skate.
Mr. Sebesky, 30 seconds.
Well, thank you. It's interesting that the initiatives that council have been working on do have the support of the candidates and the residents too. There's a lot of work that has to be done on all these projects, and that's the new council. They'll have to research it, do the due diligence, and come up with decisions on these long-term projects that will benefit everybody, including how to pay for it over the 5, 10, 15 years that they'll be implemented.
Mr. Harding, you may ask a question of either of the other two candidates.
My question is for Mr. Sebeski. You ran on having more transparency and accountability. How did you decide that there was nothing to be gained by involving the public in the decision to sell Woodstock Hydro?
Mr. Sebeski, you have 1 minute.
The decision to sell Woodstock Hydro is the same decision that was involved by the other hydros. They came upon us and they came forward with a proposal. City Council did the responsible thing. It's a commercial contract with confidentiality clauses. We went out and we priced what Woodstock Hydro was worth. We even went out and got a valuation what Hydro One would be prepared to pay for it. And Hydro One came in and offered, we had an asset worth $1, they offered us $1.55. Plus they offered us a new center that no other purchaser could have offered to us. And so for those reasons there, we did it. It's a confidentiality agreement. If indeed we had turned the sale down, the confidentiality agreement would not have allowed us to discuss what happened for a 2-year period. So there's a confidentiality that takes place not only with this deal, but Mr. Harding knows with so many other things, you do things in confidence.
Mr. Birch, you have 30 seconds.
Democracy is not holding a meeting after the deal is done. I, unlike Mr. Harding, will not make a promise I can't keep. We can't get out of this deal. Other municipalities have tried before the OEB, and they still go through. My commitment to the people of Woodstock is simple. Any border committee with representation from council will have open meetings with the exception of those in the Municipal Act. Thank you.
Mr. Harding, 30 seconds.
So are you happy with the explanation you just heard?
No.
I don't think so either. There's no way that this asset should have been sold in the manner it was, confidential or not. You should have never accepted those terms. That's my answer.